and welcome back for the Week 9 NFL Fantasy Defensive Line Waiver Wire IDP Breakdown. This week at number 1, we're off to Chicago, where the Bears' Montez Sweat is absolutely on fire. Starting with his recent surge in production in games, he looks like a very promising pickup as we head into the weekend. And his most recent performances certainly demonstrate the recent shift in his fantasy value. In his last 2 games, he has registered a sack in each, notching 4 solo tackles, 3 assists, 1 sack, and 1 tackle for a loss against the Ravens. He also had 4 solo tackles, 2 tackles for loss, a sack, and forced a fumble the week before against New Orleans. And we'll go ahead and note that at the time, both matchups were top 10 defensive end ranked games. He was respectable higher-end DL3 before this surge, but with the back-to-back sacks and recent 2-game tackle volume, Sweat is now a legitimate option, matchup-based high-end DL2 with upside. Now the question is, what's his 3-week outlook? Well, the Bears' schedule over the next 3 weeks is a goldmine for edge rushers, and this is where he can truly submit that DL1 value. And it so happens, Sweat and the Bears' defensive line are about to face a dream schedule for pass rushing production. First off, in Week 9, at the Bengals, this is a top 10 defensive end matchup, a plus-side matchup off the edge, making him a really solid start candidate. Then, in Week 10, and at home versus the Giants, the favorable schedule keeps rolling right into another top 10 defensive end matchup, only to cap it off in Week 11 versus the Vikings. And that game is currently ranked a top 5 favorable matchup for opposing edge rushers. At least that's according to our latest IDP points allowed by position rankings. In short, the stars have aligned for Sweat over the next few weeks. And with the recent production spike and a fantastic 3-game run against defenses that leak points to the defensive end position, you can start Montez Sweat as a lower-end DL1 with confidence in deeper formats or situations you need a bye-week guy.
And this week at number 2, we're off to Los Angeles, where the Chargers' Tuli Tuipulotu is certainly a player to target and pretty well known in deeper formats. Starting with his most recent production, Tuli showed up in Week 8 big time, notching 2 solos, 1 assist, 1 sack, and 2 tackles for loss on Thursday Night Football. With 6 sacks through 8 games and a solid DL average and IDP points per game, Tuli is a legitimate high-end DL2 option. And the key this week is the prime matchup against Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans, which is an extremely favorable overall matchup, but leans heavily on this plus-side top 12 IDP fantasy football opponent. However, the schedule gets much tougher afterward, with the Steelers and Jaguars on tap, meaning the higher-end fantasy points will likely be a little harder to come by in Weeks 10 and 11. But this weekend, Tuli is one of the top defensive lineman IDP waiver wire targets, and you should stick Tuli into lineups wherever you have a glaring hole or in deeper leagues where you need upside as a DL play.
And wrapping it all up, this week at number 3, we're heading to check in on Green Bay's top tier 1, Rashan Gary. After what may have stalled the great start to the season, the last couple of games, he is absolutely starting to heat up again. Over the last 2 weeks, Gary has racked up a fantastic 6 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, a forced fumble, and 3 sacks. He is second on the team in pressures and is clearly starting to get to the quarterback and in the backfield again. And Rashan Gary makes for an excellent play this week with a pretty decent run of upcoming matchups for deeper formats. His Week 9 matchup at home against the Carolina Panthers is currently ranked as a top 3 opportunity for defensive ends. Following that, his Week 10 game versus the Eagles is ranked as a top 16 matchup, and his Week 11 game at the Giants is another solid overall matchup. So, given his momentum and the plush Week 9 matchup, you can start Rashan Gary with confidence as a DL1 start this week, and a great DL2 stash if you need the play in deeper leagues. So, our final defensive line recap. Sweat is the DL goldmine with a hot matchup. Tuipulotu is our must-start DL2 for Week 9, and Rashan Gary has a top DL1 ceiling this week. And if you found this NFL Week 9 IDP waiver wire advice helpful, smash the like button, comment who you're adding, and hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the rest of this week's fantasy football advice. And of course, good luck this weekend.
They doubted us every step of the way. But we knew what we were capable of.